After the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've heard a lot about Alex Vigo and his links to Red Star. The move has been made today official as he was presented as the new Red Star player. So Alex Vigo comes to Red Star from River Plate. He is coming on a 1-year loan with the chance to kind of buy him, which I don't understand, for 2 million euros because he's going to be a free agent after this season. So kind of interesting how that works out. But he spent last year at Independiente, which is also in the Argentinian league, where he played a bunch of games, 42 matches, scored 1 goal and had 4 assists last season for Independiente. Like a middle of the table team, 12 yellow cards. So this is kind of reminiscent of, I think, Sekou Sanogo when he first came to Red Star. It was kind of the same thing where he picked up a lot of yellows, and he still does to this day. But yeah, and he's plays a right back position, which I forgot to mention. So there's going to be some stiff competition there with Nikolic Gobelic. We'll see what happens in terms of guys leaving the club, because as of right now, Red Star hasn't really sold anyone. So they've just sent a bunch of young players out on loan, which is the right thing to do. I think a lot of them have outgrown Grafičar, who is Red Star's affiliate. And I think it makes sense to loan out some of these guys to top flight clubs to see what they can do and to kind of understand what you have in each player, and then later on you can evaluate that in the summer and do what you can, whether you're going to keep the player, you're going to loan out guys, or you're going to sell guys. I think it's very important that you see what they can do in the top tier before you eventually sell them off. So in terms of Alex Vigo, great ability to get past players. He's like a right wing back. Defensively, he's not the best, but he's a decent crosser of the ball. So this is something that you kind of, in a modern right back, right wing back, this is something that you really do need. It's like the modern day football now that you have to have players on the flank who can cross the ball. He's one of them. He doesn't do it often, but he does it pretty well. And I think that's kind of what we were left a lot to be desired from Piccini and even Gaich at some points in his tenure. Although I think he was a lot better than Piccini was at that, getting the ball over to these strikers. Alex Vigo has shown that he can do that. I don't want to say consistently, because he doesn't. That's not something that's in his game that much. But when he does do it, he's pretty good at it. Not afraid to go into tackles, which is also something very important. He has great timing from what I've seen in some of the videos, in terms of just kind of timing when the player is going to do what with the ball, and the ability to take the ball off the player. So that's something, again, a necessity that you have. But defensively, he still leaves a lot to be desired kind of thing, and he's going to have to work on that, because with the current Red Star setup, he's going to be a right back. He's not going to be a right wing back. So we usually play a 4-2-3-1, or recently it's been a little bit more of a 4-3-3, like kind of like a hybrid or something. So that's something that he's going to have to adjust. I meant to touch on this earlier. There's going to be a lot of competition for minutes now. So you're bringing in Alex Vigo. You've sent out some players on loan. I think Lazic was a right back as well, who played for Grafičar, one of the better players in tier 2. So you send him out on loan as well. You still have Gobelic, who's at the club. You still have Lazar Nikolic, who you brought in last summer, who scored a really nice goal today, actually, in a friendly kind of warm-up for the second half of the season. So you're going to have guys vying for positions, and I think that's a great thing to have, especially when you take a look at the right back position. I don't think we've had a solid right back since Filip Stojkovic was here 3-4 years ago, maybe even 5 now. So that's a position that we always kind of hadn't addressed, or that was a real weakness on this team. And hopefully with this transfer, we kind of address that. And before Filip Stojkovic, I didn't look it up, but I honestly couldn't tell you who the next right back that was really good for us was. It must have been 6 or 7 years prior to that. So it's a position that I want to say in the last 10 years we just really haven't gotten right. And hopefully with this deal, we've kind of addressed that. Another question is, how fast can he adjust to life in Serbia, right? So he's coming in from Argentina. He's never left South America. So this is 23 years old. So this could potentially be a barrier. There's guys who have come over, even like Premier League, from South America, from Africa, from wherever the case may be, from Asia, any continent really, And the adjustment to the life is a lot different. The life here is a lot different. We saw, for example, Di Maria when we went to Manchester United from Real Madrid. He had a real difficult time adjusting, and it happens. And he just went from like one big team to another big team, but different country, different style of living, different style of play. It's a hard adjustment for some. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly he adapts in the year that he's going to be with Red Star. And like I said, it could be a barrier to kind of for some players. And off the top of my head, there's no other South American players on the team. So, again, it could be a pretty big barrier. Ibanez still plays for Grafichar, if I'm not mistaken, who's Argentinian. And Alex Vigo said that he talked to Ibanez before coming to Red Star. So as long as he's there and he could kind of help acclimate him to the new surroundings, I think that'll be really good. And I think Ibanez will do a great job of kind of taking him under his wing and kind of showing him around and helping him out with whatever. And I just really like that this is a loan deal. It's not a purchasing of the player yet, per se. I think it's very important to see what you have in a player before you kind of get to sign him, especially from what I mentioned before with first time outside of South America. It could be very difficult. And if we were to buy him now for probably $2 million, then you're kind of stuck with him, right? If he can't adjust to that life. But, in the first year, he'll give you a good glimpse of his abilities. You don't have Champions League qualifying this year if you do finish first, which, knock on wood, hopefully we do. So you're going to be going directly into the Champions League group stage. And that's where he's going to need to show his talent and his abilities, ultimately. And that's why he was brought here. He says he loved the fact that that Red Star is going to be competing in the Champions League, and he's looking forward to it. So that's also one big draw for a player like Alex Vigo. I know that Ludogorets from Bulgaria was very interested in him. Red Star ended up getting him, and I think maybe a club or two from Turkey was also interested. So it's like I said, last season spent time on loan at Independiente. He's a right back, 23 years old, comes on a 1-year loan, first time leaving South America. Has some really good offensive attributes. Defensively leaves a little bit to be desired. But we'll see how this works out, and hopefully this is the start of Red Star getting it right with the right back position, because like I mentioned, we've had 4 or 5 years where we just haven't been able to figure it out, and it's one of the positions that's been the team's Achilles heel. Just haven't been able to get it right, and we've been burned so many times in the Champions League and Europa League. So we'll see how this works out. So let me know what you guys think of the transfer below. Are you for it, against it? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Argentinian friends who watch this video would love to know what you guys think about Alex Vigo as well.